Good morning, boys and girls. Hope everyone had a great day yesterday. We are back in science again. You need your science book and a pencil because we'll be working it. We're on page 224. We're finishing off some more stuff from lesson 3 in unit 6. We're starting off with hibernation, which is on page 224 in the book. So make sure you've got page 224 ready to go. And of course your pencil. I'll be using a marker because I'm writing on the page, because you'll be writing on the page just like me. Page 224. Hibernation. When the weather turns cold, it is time for many animals to slow down. Active reading. As you read these 2 pages, draw a line under the words that describe what is happening to the animals in the photo. So what is happening to the animals? So what is happening? All right. Animals respond to cold winter weather in different ways. Some animals stay active during the winter. They find food or eat food they have hidden. Other animals hibernate or go into a deep sleep-like state that helps them survive the cold winter conditions. Normal body activities slow down. The heart beats slowly, and breathing almost stops. Hibernating is an instinctive behavior. So we can't do hibernating because we don't have that instinct, and we can't learn how to do it. A hibernating animal doesn't use much energy because its body is barely working. There is enough fat stored in the animal's body to keep it alive through the winter. So look at the squirrel. This ground squirrel spent the fall eating and gaining weight. It stored up enough energy to survive winter hibernation. The squirrel's heart rate and breathing have become slower. So what happened to the animal in the photos? Well, the first thing it did, it spent the fall eating and gaining weight. Then the heart rate and breathing became slower. So it actually did 2 different things, didn't it? That's what's happening to the animal. First thing is, it ate a lot of food during the fall, which is for us right now, season-wise. And then when it became too cold, it made its burrow, and then it slowed its heart rate down, and breathing became slower. This is what's on page 224. You've underlined, and we're going to page 225 now. So we'll be underlining what happened to the animal. We're going to do the bat first. Many bats like these hibernate in the winter. In the spring, when the weather warms up, there is more food for the bat. It will come out of hibernation. So it is hibernating in the winter, and then, well, that's really doesn't, and then it will come out, but it's not come out till spring because it needs more food. It needs something to eat. Insects don't really come out during the fall and winter because it's, cold. These snakes are all hibernating together. When spring arrives, they will leave the den. So what are the animals doing? They are hibernating together. That way they can stay warm. All right, let's read what the passage said now. Which animals hibernate? That's a good question because not all animals hibernate. I mean, some animals don't ever hibernate. Like we don't hibernate, we just sleep at night. Many animals that eat insects hibernate. These animals include bats, hedgehogs, and hamsters. Insects such as ladybugs and bees also hibernate. So do lizards, snakes, turtles, skunks, badgers, and many more animals. So if you think about it, insects are only out during warm times. So when it gets cold, there won't be anything to eat. So you might as well go sleep, otherwise you're going to starve because you have no food. And some of these animals down here eat these animals. Ladybugs and bees, well, they're insects, so they're going to hide. They're going to go and sleep and rest. Look at the data. How does each animal's heart rate change during hibernation? So we have the animal's heart rate. We have non-hibernating as the top row. Hibernating is the bottom one. A bat does 450 beats per minute during normal days. And then when it's hibernating, it's 40 beats per minute. A woodchuck has 160 beats per minute, and then only 4 beats per minute when it's hibernating. So you need to write down an answer here. How does each animal's heart rate change during hibernation? You need to have an answer for bats, and you need to have one for woodchucks. So you need to have 2 different answers. One for bats and then one for woodchucks. So you need to have 2 different answers on this part. Now I'm going to continue the lesson, but you need to make sure there's answers on that before the end of the day. And of course you've done the underlining and all those things. Continuing, now we're talking about migration. Migration. Some animals are travelers. Some whales make a yearly trip from someplace cold to someplace warm and back. Active reading. As you read, compare the different reasons animals migrate. Circle each reason an animal might migrate. Okay, so we're circling the reasons why animals migrate. Circle each reason it might migrate. All right, so here we go. Animals migrate when they move a long distance as a group from one region to another and back. Whales swim to a warm place to mate. They swim to a different spot to give birth. Then they swim back to where they were to find food. So that's 3 different places. So the reason was to mate, to give birth, and to find food. That's 3 different places whales have to go. And sometimes those are hundreds and thousands of miles apart. Many animals, including birds and fish, migrate. Whales and some other animals teach their young the way to go. The path the animals take is learned, but knowing when to migrate is an instinct. So an animal knows when to migrate, when it needs to go mate, have birth, or get food. That's an instinct. But the path it takes, that is learned. So our picture, gray whales have one of the largest migration routes of any mammal. They travel up to 21,000 kilometers each year. Gray whales swim from the cold Arctic to the warm Mexico to have their young. That's a long way. So you're going from the top of the planet to almost the bottom of the planet. In the winter, when the land freezes over in the Arctic, tundra swans fly to the warmer south. When the weather warms up, the swans return to the Arctic, where they mate and wait for their eggs to hatch. So, why do they do it? To mate and to eggs to hatch. So the same thing. Because it's going to be warmer. Give me a second. Migration routes of the gray whale and the tundra swans. So some animals use the sun and stars to find their way. It's an instinct. Some animals learn migration routes from other animals. So if I look at the gray whale is the purple line, and the tundra swan are the orange. That's where they're going. Do the math. Make a graph. All right. Many animals migrate. The gray whale can travel over 10,000 kilometers each way as it migrates. The tundra swan may travel over 3,000 kilometers each way as it migrates. Draw a bar graph to compare. So the first one we have is gray whale. And then the second one is the tundra swan. So the gray whale is 10,000, so it's 1,000, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the whole way to the top. And then you've got to color all that in. And the tundra swan only goes to the 3,000. That's 1,000, 2,000. It's only going to there. And you've got to color the whole thing in. I don't really have the ability to do that with my board, but you do at home. Give you a second to catch up. So the gray whale went to 10,000, tundra swan went to 3,000. Boom. Sum it up. All right, here we go. When you're done, use the answer key to check and revise your work. Because the answers, if you didn't know this, are actually at the bottom, but you don't see that yet. Young sea turtles hatch and walk towards the ocean. Let's see, they're going towards, so I'm thinking instinct. So I would write in instinct. Chimpanzee using tool like this stick to get food. That's learned. Because no one teaches you how to use a hammer. You have to learn how to use a hammer. Ground squirrels sleep through the winter when food is scarce. That would be, I don't know. I'm thinking instinct. Because I can't make myself sleep more. But my body doesn't do it. Grizzly bears wait in the water to catch fish. Well, it knows it's hungry, but it doesn't know how to eat. And that's something you have to learn. I'm saying it's going to be learned. Now, to know if I'm right or wrong, all I have to do is take my glorious book, which I got a bunch of sticky notes and stuff like that in it because it's my book. And all I have to do is turn my book upside down, and my answers are right there. There's my answers. So that's all I had to do.